So I think about a month ago, I made a video talking about 5 potential characters that could possibly remove or even break their limiter, and I did say I had a couple more characters up my sleeve that I can still mention, and so today is that day. If you didn't already know, in One Punch Man, the limiter is a theoretical barrier that restricts the physical growth of a being, and in rare instances, it is possible for these certain individuals to break and remove their limiter, which results in the development of immeasurable strength and power. Saitama was an ordinary person with no talent or even potential, but through effort alone, Saitama was able to remove his natural limits and achieve strength not measurable even by some of the most intelligent characters in the series, such as Dr. Genus. So without further ado, here are 5 more characters that have a strong will to manifest and put effort into their deepest subconscious desires in order to break their limits. Now, kicking off our list of 5 potential characters that could break or remove their limiters, I have Speeda Sound Sonic. Now, although this egotistical rogue ninja is often used as a punching bag for constantly trying to challenge Saitama and in a way harassing him, you know him being the self-declared rival and all, he's seen as more of a nuisance and a reoccurring villain that can never keep his bloodlust and pride in check. But it's these reasons that I chose Sonic as a character that has potential to break or even remove his limiter. His determined mindset is what's making him more powerful. Sonic became significantly stronger and faster due to his fights with Saitama and of course his constant training. For example, in the recent Ninja Village arc chapters, he was able to keep up with Flashy Flash during their brief battle, managing to react to and defend against one of Flashy Flash's ultimate techniques. Sonic also refuses to give up until he succeeds, and he is also unwilling to tolerate the existence of someone who is more capable of defeating him, aka Saitama. Now, if Sonic is willing to do anything, even trading his own humanity in order to defeat Saitama by becoming a monster through the consumption of a monster cell that was given to him by Gale Wind and Hellfire Flame during the whole Monster Association saga or Garo saga, then I can certainly imagine that he is able to manifest his deep subconscious desire of just wanting to defeat Saitama and has the willpower to break or even remove his limiter. Now, in my number 2 spot, I have Zombieman. Ranked number 6 in the S class, this unkillable, nihilistic badass may have not been a character that you could see breaking or even removing their limiter, especially at the beginning of the story, but you know, that's mainly because he lacks that type of mindset to train and become stronger, and this is because he really only specializes in one key area, and that's his regenerative ability. Due to being a human lab rat for Dr. Genus and having to go through many unknown experiments to attain his immortality, I guess in a way he has already broken a limit that most characters in the story can't obtain, you know, so that's probably a reason why he never really tried to chase or even try to surpass his own limits, because he just can't die. And we know that a very important part of breaking one's limiter requires near-death experience, or better known as a Zenkai boost in shonen terms. And we've seen this with characters like Garo and the Monster King Orochi, in which they were being used or experienced near-death circumstances where they slowly worked their way up, eventually breaking their limiter or simply raising their ceiling. Saitama is another example. During his training / the beginning of his hero journey, he has kind of experienced a near-death situation, and I say kind of because we have seen him severely injured in some panels, but not to the brink of death or nothing super serious like that. But nevertheless, he did break and remove his limiter through his determination and training alone. But like I mentioned before, Zombieman doesn't intensely train or even experience the risk of near-death circumstances, and you know, that's because he is immortal. So that leaves only one thing, and that is his desire to become stronger. And desire there is. In the manga, after witnessing Saitama defeat Garo, it is revealed that he wants to become stronger and even begs Dr. Genus to help him break his limiter and, of course, become as strong as Saitama. So this possibly hints at like some kind of inferiority complex that stems from his like over reliance on his regenerative abilities. And that's mainly because he's rather weak when it comes to his physical abilities in comparison to his S-class associates. And of course, the webcomic continuity has shown the type of process that Zombieman is going through right now to try to remove his limiter. That being intense training by being beat over and over and over again by monsters or beings that were created by Dr. Genus like Carnage Kabuto. But this time it's different. This time it's backed by a deep desire. So his immortality or that risk of near-death experience won't be a problem in this process of breaking or removing his limiter. And who knows, if this ends up working out for Zombieman, he'd be a lot more stronger than he already is, especially when you take into account that his regeneration ability is up there with some of the characters like Boros or even Garo when he reaches his monsterized state. But I guess it all really just depends on how bad Zombieman truly wants his desire to come to fruition, and of course him breaking his limiter. The third character on my list is not only responsible for the last entry, but is also responsible for revealing the strange nature of how the limiter works. Dr. Genus is one of the most intelligent characters, if not the most intelligent character in all of One Punch Man and in the One Punch Man verse, besides the fact that he created extremely powerful beings and monsters. But most impressively, he knows about Saitama's true strength. He knows about the existence of the divine-like being known as God, and he knows about the limiter. Dr. Genus is already experimenting and helping Zombieman to try to break his limiter and achieve incredible power. So I'm inclined to believe that if this process works out for Zombieman, then Dr. Genus can do it on himself too. But that's if he wants to, and I say that we know that Dr. Genus had some kind of change of heart, especially after witnessing Saitama's fight with Carnage Kabuto. He started to think that he is the one who actually must change, and with the House of Evolution gone and having lost his sense of direction on this path of evolution that he wanted to go on, it's really hard to say if Dr. Genus truly wants to remove his limiter. He's just one of those characters that's hard to read. But, at the end of the day, Dr. Genus is still a human with the potential to have a burning desire to surpass his limits, like we've seen him have in the past when he was disillusioned with the rest of society, and because of that, his willpower fires up in his eyes, as shown only in the anime, and that's when he realizes that humanity needs to evolve. But, since he's abandoned all that stuff, who knows? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Our fourth character here on our list may come to you as a surprise considering his personality, or however you may view this character for his negative attitude, but nevertheless, Amai Mask or Sweet Mask is definitely a potential candidate to try and be able to break or even remove his limiter. Sweet Mask in a way knows about the existence of the limiter because he knows about Saitama's true strength and even puts him on a pedestal for being so powerful. And if you didn't already know, spoilers, Sweet Mask has raised his limiter ceiling up by quite a bit due to him being a shape-shifting monster. And now even in the webcomic continuity, he is being hunted, and this raises the chances of him experiencing near-death circumstances, and of course back that up with his burning desire to become a perfect symbol of justice. Then this could certainly boost him all the way up to his ceiling, where he eventually breaks it. And in addition to this, because he is no longer a part of the Hero Association and isn't a celebrity anymore, surrounded by paparazzi and of course his fans, and he isn't super busy, he definitely has all the time in the world to improve on himself in order to surpass his limits. And last but not least, here on our list of potential characters that can break their limiter, I have Fubuki. Being the younger sister and weaker Esper when compared to Tatsumaki, this created an inferiority complex for Fubuki, where she is seen self-asserting herself in leadership roles and recruiting stronger people than her into her faction. You know, because of this insecurity, she tries everything she can in her power to try and surpass her older sister, especially after meeting Saitama, who encouraged her to finally overcome her fears and weaknesses and find her determination to become stronger and of course advance into the A class. And slowly she has been doing so by participating in many battles during the Monster Association arc. Let's not forget about her close connections with Saitama and the fact that she has psychos in her possession, which could indirectly connect her with God, in which where she could possibly find out about the limiter, or where she can be influenced by God and amped, and of course this in turn would raise her ceiling up quite a bit. And you know, I do think if she constantly trained and focused on improving her psychic abilities, then her potential is definitely up there, especially when you think about her deep subconscious desire to surpass Tatsumaki and to essentially get herself out of her shadow and achieve the respect that she's always dreamed of. Ultimately, the limiter is still a very mysterious concept, and although I've explained to you how it works, we still have no concrete evidence of how the limiter truly came to be. Dr. Genus did theorize that the immense and overwhelming power becomes unbearable for one's body, and eventually they become mindless, crazed monsters. And of course, to prevent this from happening, God imposed a limit on the growth of all living beings. Everyone eventually reaches this upper limit where they become unable to develop more strength no matter how hard they try. But through deep subconscious manifestation and desires and of course willpower, then you can eventually break this limit just like Saitama did. Those were 5 more potential characters that could possibly break or remove their limiters, and as always, I am Emirpunch. Make sure you leave your comments down below telling me what you think about the whole concept about the limiter and about more potential characters who could break their limits. And of course, I'll be seeing you in the next one. See ya.